Hello, Couch Co-opers, Couch Potatoes, and Couch Codependents. This is the Couch Co-op Show. I'm Ian. I am your host. Welcome to the couch. I am filing solo. I'm flying solo tonight. If you don't know, it's Father's Day. Happy Fathers to all the lucky gentlemen out there who had kids. Congratulations, you had sex, and it spawned a little mini version of yourself, and you get a day to celebrate that. So there you go. Everyone enjoy that. Much love goes out to Kratos, Dad of War, my number one pick for best father in video games. We're not talking about fathers today. I did want to do a little house cleaning. Housekeeping. For a while, we had been putting additional podcasts that we produce on the Couch Co-op Show podcast channel feed. But thankfully, Spotify finally allowed. Mainly, it was due to my laziness. I was tired of having multiple logins for all the different podcasts, so it was just easier to put them all out on one feed. But finally, Spotify got their act together and kind of refined their back end, so now I can have multiple podcasts but only one login. So, lucky for you, video game Couch Co-op listeners, you don't have to listen or suffer through some of the other podcasts that were being shared on the feed. But if you were into some of those other podcasts and you're wondering where they went, they still exist. They're just on their own feeds. So if you're into Milkman and Reverend, the comic book podcast, look for Milkman and Reverend back on their own feed. If you're into the beer, Couch Co-op is back on its own feed. And Blank as a Fart, my Twin Peaks podcast with Gabe, that is also on its own feed. So those three podcasts are no longer on this channel. But if you were supporting them through that, I appreciate it. But you should go find and subscribe to those actual channels. I just want to some people might be really into those podcasts and be like, where'd they go? And they're just back on their own channels now that I don't have to remember 20 different passwords. I only have to remember one. Okay. What are we doing today? We're not going to do much. This will be a shorty episode. I just wanted to get on and talk a little bit of video games. But I gave the rest of the guys, as I said, the day off since it's Father's Day. So they're off doing Father's Day stuff. As I'm sure a lot of you listeners are. Because you won't listen to this today. You'll probably listen to it tomorrow. If at all. Anyway, no trivia. No, what... I guess I could look at what happened in this day in gaming. If you give me a moment, I could vamp and be like, what happened in this day in gaming? I could have looked this day in video game history. 29 years ago today, in 95, we got Area 88. Pretty Fighter X. Ooh, what is this? Fireblade. Neverwinter Nights, 22 years ago. Big Mother Truckers, 21 years ago. Drakengard 2, 19 years ago. Inuyasha, 19 years ago. Diva Girls, Divas on Ice, 15 years ago. Oh, the Ghostbusters, the original Ghostbusters, the video game, 15 years ago. Guitar Hero Smash Hits, 15 years ago. Anything really... Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge 2 years ago. There's some good stuff. Not bad. Anything cool, like birthdays or anything? No, pretty nice. Oh, here's the today in personal computing history that Dave always looks up. Nothing. Microsoft releases the Internet Explorer 5.2 web browser for the Mac OS X. Very exciting. Mozilla releases Firefox 3. Atari grants Century exclusive worldwide rights to manufacture and distribute the Tunnel Hunt arcade game. Sega releases Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut video game for Nintendo GameCube in the U.S. Actually, it seems like the biggest piece of history on this day in gaming history is the Ghostbusters video game. Released on PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Nintendo DS, Nintendo Wii in the U.S. Funny story, I actually got to play that at Comic-Con in 2008, the summer of 2008. Got to play a lot of games. I got to go to a private party for THQ to play the first Darksiders. That was great. Free booze, free food. Got to had an interview with Joe Mad, the character designer, lead designer on the games. He was pretty trashed, but got to play that game and an early build of that game. That was a lot of fun. Good times. Comic-Con, man, that seems like a lifetime ago. Anyway, that's this day in gaming history. No demo. Obviously, I didn't play a fucking demo. So, that's not my bag. That's Dave's, and he's not here. So, you're not going to do that. I'm just going to talk about some of the games I've been playing. I'm going to start off with still playing Destiny 2. The Final Shape came out. Been playing that. Fucking brilliant, dude. I mean, I've been kind of running through the old expansions, the Witch Queen, Beyond Light, and Lightfall, because they were all given free on PSN to PS Plus subscribers. So I've been playing through that in preparation for the Final Shape. And so then finally playing the Final Shape, I must say, very cool. It was cool. It's cool to get AB back in the game, but then that expansion is really singularly focused narrative game. Like, it seems like it just wants you to play the story of this game. So you are very kind of alone. Unless you squad up with people, you're alone in this game. Like, unless you squad up with your friends for like your fire team, if you're just playing it by yourself, you're always going to be alone, except for the strike, which, you know, because I played the whole campaign by myself. The strike was weird because it groups you up with people, obviously. And I guess that's one of my only complaints is, like, I wish the expansion wasn't so formulaic, because, like, all the Destiny expansions have been a few campaign missions, then a strike in the middle, and then a few more campaign missions. Man, just take the strike out. Or put it at the end. Like, just have, like, the whole story thing. Just go with your vision and do something different. I really like the fact that the open world area, there's no one else around, and really dug that. Also really dug the design of the levels and stuff. The addition of a lot more kind of raid mechanics in the campaign missions is really cool. The story is actually pretty good. Pulls you through. I really enjoyed it. I think Keith David does a commendable job at taking over for Lance Riddick in the Zavala role. And I think the story helps with that because of where Zavala's character is going in the story. But overall, just, Destiny is so fun to play. The mechanics are so good. As we talked, I think, a couple episodes back, me and Dave just kind of vibing about how awesome Destiny is. This expansion is just really strong. Really enjoyed it, especially going back recently. Now, especially having recently played the other expansions that are hit or miss. This one is super strong. Like, it's of the ones I've recently played, the Witch Queen, Lightfall, and Beyond Light. The Final Shape is by far my favorite of those four. So I never played Forsaken or the other ones, the earlier ones I haven't touched, so I don't know what those are like. I know Forsaken, a lot of people love Forsaken, but right now, Final Shape is my favorite. I'm going to keep grinding away. I don't know if I'll get enough of the guys together, and if I doubt it. So playing the raid is probably not going to happen, but that's fine. I mean, I'm enjoying my time with it. I enjoy all the other kind of extra missions and exotic missions and just kind of grinding out your seasonal rank and yeah, it has enough to hold me in. I mean, at some point, obviously, this next week coming up, the expansion for Elden Ring drops, so I imagine I don't have much longer with Destiny, but I've put in like almost 80 hours at this point, so I feel pretty good about it. I feel pretty good about the final shape and where it is and maybe where it goes on my Game of the Year list. It's definitely going to get some love. But yeah, it doesn't have much longer because of, that Elden Ring, that Erd tree, that shadow of the Erd tree is looming, So that's going to be coming, and I'll probably be off Destiny again for a long time. But yeah, Destiny, dude. Just want to say, really big fan. Coming back after all these years to it is kind of really a treat. I've really enjoyed that. It was definitely worth getting back into it, even though it was kind of a barrier to entry with all the coming to grips with all the different, mission structures and seasonal stuff and all the shifting of stuff. I don't know. It was just very different than when I played it like 20,000 years ago, But I'm glad I pushed through and got back into it. And I would fully recommend if you're just a Destiny fan, you're probably already playing it. But if you're thinking about getting back into Destiny, as long as you can get pushed through the barrier to entry on some of the getting back up to speed with how the game plays, or like some of the weird mechanics of the in-game, just quest structure and how it handles archived quests and all the bells and whistles that are popping off every which way but loose because of the seasonal stuff. As long as you can get through all that and just find the core game, you're going to love it. So I definitely think it's worth checking out. Let me take a drink and then breathe. Doing these episodes by yourself, I feel like I need to constantly fill dead air. And I don't have to, but I just feel like I need to talk a million miles a second. Anyway, what else have I been playing? I bought there's some sales going on PSN, so I bought some super cheap ass games. I bought the Bethesda pack for Pinball FX. So it has like the Doom and Fallout and Skyrim pinball tables, and those are fun. Play that. I love playing those pinball games just kind of when I don't know what to play and I only have like a half hour or so before I need to go to bed or do something else. Those are always fun to just like pop in and just kind of play a couple rounds and then call it good. Try and beat someone's score. Though not many of my friends have the Bethesda tables, so in fact I think there's only one person on my friends list that has them, so I don't have many people to beat. But a lot of the Marvel or Star Wars ones, there's multiple people that play those. But those are fun tables. Enjoying that. So that was a good like $2, $3 purchase. What else have I been playing? Oh yeah. It's an old PS2 game that Dave used to really like called 13. It's like Roman numerals 13. It recently got, well, not recently, well, yeah, like a couple years ago, it got a remaster to PS4 and PS5. Random, taking this PS2 game and remastering it. But they must have not really, they remastered the visuals, but the gameplay isn't like, it feels very much like a PS2 game. So they just like upscaled it to HD, I feel like, is really all they did. But I would have to play the original version to know that for sure. Anyway, they remastered this game. It didn't do very well, didn't get good reviews. Currently in the sale, you can get it for $2.99. And I thought, I never played the original. Dave always really liked it. $3. That's like half the price of a pint of beer at a bar, So it's like, fuck it, I'll buy this game. And I've been playing that, and I actually really like it. I mean, it's not the greatest game. It's a very PS2 game. It's just a very PS2 game. but there's a very charming thing, and then the kind of cel-shaded comic book feel of the game, the art design is really kind of cool. The mechanics are really simplistic. I mean, it really feels like an old PS2 shooter, first-person shooter. It's like very, there's no assist in any way. It's very hard to control sometimes. You just kind of want to run around and just shotgun everything because that's the easiest. But it's pretty fun. Story's kind of interesting, kind of convoluted. Not the greatest voice acting, but for $2.99, you can't really go wrong. It's only a 6.5 hour long game to beat. I've already played 3 hours, so I'll probably beat it in another sitting or two. So I've been playing that. It's kind of fun. I'm glad I've tried it. So yeah. Have I played anything else? I feel like I have, but maybe not. Maybe that's it. Yeah, that's probably it. I've kind of cooled it down on the emulator stuff, though going on trips this summer, so I'm sure that'll ratchet back up. But yeah, just kind of here or there. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Hey guys, have you guys played anything? Probably not. I know what I wanted to talk about. Because last week we did our Summer Game Fest episode where we rifled through a bunch of games, but we hadn't. But we because our podcast comes out on Monday, we weren't able to talk about the Ubisoft showcase. Though we kind of briefly talked about some of the games. Having watched the showcase, where mainly the two big Ubisoft games were showcased, that being Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. Very long kind of deep dives into those two games. Boy, am I am so in for those games, dude. Super hyped for Star Wars Outlaws in August. Can't wait to play that. Looks great. I don't know. The Respawn games, the Jedi games. I played the first one. It was fun. It was okay. Not really my cup of tea. For some reason, didn't play the second one. But this kind of open world, basically the Division, Far Cry, third person Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft game. I really hope this Star Wars game is. I mean, a lot of the previews have been really positive, so very excited for that game. And then obviously, this new Assassin's Creed game. Yeah, I'm super stoked for it. Still, Mirage. I didn't play Mirage, but Mirage was kind of a turn back to that classic Assassin's Creed gameplay, and it was met with lukewarm responses, I guess. I mean, I'll probably play it some point, but I want the more Odyssey Origins, Valhalla type of game, and the two different characters, two different play styles look very interesting. And then obviously feudal Japan's really popular with the Ghost of Tsushima and the Ronin and all that stuff. Assassin's Creed finally doing their own version of it. Just super hyped for it, and that's like what, November, September? I don't know, somewhere out. I think it's November. Yeah, dude, super hyped. So Ubisoft's going to be getting some of my money this year, and I'm probably going to enjoy both those games. And I'm not saying they're going to be Game of the Year games, but they're probably going to be solid 8s. I'm 100% going to say they're probably going to be solid, fun, great games. Just so I'm going to call that. I don't think they can be awful. I mean, everyone was talking that Avatar game was going to be shit, and like a lot of people really loved it and thought it was like crazy beautiful. I'm never going to play the Avatar game because I'm not really into Avatar, but I'm sure that game was still a lot of fun. Solid 8, and I imagine these two games, same thing. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I'm sure a lot of you are excited for those games too, but what else? I think that's it for video games. I could do some couch co-optionals. I watched, Dave, so was it not last week, but the week before, Dave talking about Godzilla -1. I finally watched it, finally. I don't know why it's taken me so long, but I finally watched it. It is phenomenal, great movie. Really enjoyed it. For sure the best cinematic Godzilla, as far as just a well-rounded story, and they do a good job of making the human element fit into a Godzilla story, where like you watch a lot of the American big budget popcorn Godzilla movies and the human element is just always in the way. But yeah, Godzilla -1, really enjoyed it. I really want to watch the black and white version because I love when they do those black and white versions, like they did with Mad Max Fury Road or like Logan. They did the black and chrome versions. I love, because I'm a big black and white fan, so I'm super excited to see it again in black and white. And then speaking of the American versions, I did watch Godzilla, Kong, New World Empire, whatever it is. What a silly, goofy film, but a lot of fun. I like those movies. I get people don't like them, but they remind me of the classic Godzilla movies. Like, that's what they are. And so this movie is that. Just monsters beating the shit out of each other in goofy ways. It's funny, Godzilla's in such a weird spot where he's on one side, being the giant monster, breaking up shit and sleeping in the Colosseum, in Rome, and then on the other side, you have Godzilla winning an Oscar for best special effects. You have these two different worlds that I think it can it can exist in both those worlds. I think that's super cool. I think they're fun. I've loved the Godzilla movies, so so I watched those two movies. And then I also just watched The Fall Guy, the Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt movie about stuntman. That's a great movie too. Super fun, done with a lot of love, very entertaining, very funny, has a lot of heart. Really enjoyed it. Great action sequences. So those are some couch co-optional films that you should check out if you haven't already. All of you listeners have probably already checked them out, and I'm just really slow on the uptick right here, but that happens sometimes. But yeah, so that's my couch co-optionals. And that's the shorty episode that I have for this Father's Day 2024. I think next week it'll just be Jared and I. Perhaps Nick. I know Dave said he's going to be out. We'll probably talk some more, get some of Jared's thoughts on Destiny, since I know he's been playing it. But yeah, so you guys take care of yourselves. Hang tight. We'll have more people back next week. And I hope you guys have a good week. For Couch Co-op, I'm Ian. Remember to please, be excellent to each other.